Leadership styles vary depending on the personality of the leader, organization type, and institutional expectations. Let's take a look at two leadership philosophies and how they're utilized within education. Transactional leadership. Transactional leadership is a focus-driven leadership style which recognizes formal authority within the organization. Transactional leaders often manage performance and not the individual through reward and punishment. Transactional leadership utilizes an obvious chain of command to convey expectations to those being led. Those being led by transactional leaders are motivated to reach a specific goal, but not to extend beyond that goal. Examples of transactional leaders are General Norman Schwarzkopf, who led U.S. forces in Operation Desert Storm, Vince Lombardi, former head coach of the Green Bay Packers and namesake of the Super Bowl trophy, and Howard Schultz, who created the current Starbucks brand. Servant leadership. Servant leadership emerged from the philosophies of various religions, including Christianity, Hindu, and Islam. The tenets of servant leadership are encompassed in the following 10 principles: listening, empathy, healing, awareness, persuasion, conceptualization, foresight, stewardship, commitment to the growth of people, and building community. Servant leaders are typically optimistic and empathetic toward people from various backgrounds and situations. Servant leaders place the needs of others before their own and lead by example. Examples of servant leaders are Martin Luther King Jr., civil rights leader, Mahatma Gandhi, nonviolent activist and leader of India's fight for independence from Great Britain, and Albert Schweitzer, German theologian, music scholar, and medical missionary, and winner of the 1952 Nobel Peace Prize. Comparisons of transactional and servant leadership styles. If leadership styles were placed on a spectrum, it is quite possible that transactional leadership would be on one end, while servant leadership would be on the opposite. The only similarity they seem to share is that they each can be effective as leadership styles. Everyone responds differently to leadership. Some may find transactional leadership more effective, while others may find servant leadership more effective. The differences between the two philosophies are more apparent. While transactional leadership offers a clear-cut manager/subordinate structure, servant leadership embraces a holistic structure where all parties have equal input. Transactional leadership maintains the status quo, while servant leadership encourages creativity and personal expression. Finally, transactional leadership provides rewards when directions are followed and punishments when they are not, while servant leadership rewards selflessness and doesn't place a premium on right or wrong answers. Scenarios. Transactional leadership. This is Mr. Jones. As a transactional leader, he utilizes a traditional top-down approach while teaching his sophomore English classes. His students understand exactly what is expected of them as soon as classes begin each semester. Those who complete assignments and projects correctly and on time are rewarded with good grades, while those who don't are punished with bad grades. Mr. Jones uses repetition to ensure that his students understand the subject matter. Mr. Jones's students will learn exactly what the institution deems necessary. The status quo will be met, and the students' grades will reflect that. Servant leadership. This is Mrs. Smith. As a servant leader, she wants her junior civics class to learn through collaboration and self-awareness. Students are divided into groups at the beginning of the semester and work together on all projects and assignments. Mrs. Smith places the needs of her students before her own and encourages open and honest communication in her classroom. Additionally, Mrs. Smith's students collaborate with nonprofit organizations within the community to gain a greater understanding of empathy and charity. Thank you for taking the time to explore transactional and servant leadership styles.
Created using Powtoon.